Today, I wanted to talk a little bit more about how I go about planning and coming up with ideas for my creative projects. Now, I mainly work in photography, so that's what I will be using as an example today. For me, there's a lot of different ways to go about planning a photo shoot, but there's three main categories that I always use, and that's idea generation, mood board creation, and prop collection. Now, my ideas come from all over the place. Sometimes it's when I'm in the shower, or sometimes it's when I'm out for a walk. Now, with idea generation, it can be hard to get started. So there are a couple of things that I do to get my creative juices flowing. I made a whole video about doing cautious consumption and how you should consume more quality content and all of that. But actually, one of the things I do to get my creative juices flowing is to do a little bit of intentional doom scrolling. And that sounds a little bit weird, but it's when I go onto Pinterest or Behance, just as an example, and I start scrolling to see if there's something that, piques my interest. Now, when I do this, I keep in mind that it's to start my creative process that I'm doing this. It's not to just mindlessly doom scroll until I think I find something that I can copy. It's to look at a lot of different artwork and different projects from both drawings and paintings, a lot of different stuff, to see if there are small bits here and there that I enjoy. I also sometimes look at my own work to see if I can inspire myself by looking at what I have created in the past. And sometimes with a fresh perspective, I can look at both unpublished work or published work and get a new kind of inspiration from works that I've already done. A great example of this is that lately I've been more into black and white work than I've been into color, and I've been into color for a long time. So I had a look at my Instagram profile to see if there were any old works that I might find suitable for a new black and white conversion. And I actually ended up making something that I really enjoyed. My point with this is that it's important for you to not limit yourself in where you gather your inspiration from. It can be your own work, it can be other people's work, it can be going on a walk and seeing some beautiful light falling on some leaves or anything like that. Everything can be inspiration, and sometimes it hits you when you are not expecting it. If I'm not completely sure about an idea, but I feel I have something that might work in the future, I'll make a mental note and park it. What I mean by this is that sometimes I come up with ideas where I might need a bit more practice, or I might need some specific props for that to work, which isn't attainable at the moment, or in any other shape or form is not possible to do right away. Then I make a mental note and then I park it for a while until I come up with a solution that makes it possible to go and make it real. Now, if you want some places that are great for intentional doom scrolling, I would recommend going on either Pinterest or Behance. Now, Instagram might work, but these two are the ones that I personally use the most. Behance is a platform that contains a lot of quality work. It's mostly professional people on Behance who post there, and that's because it's kind of like an online portfolio for creatives, and a lot of art directors and movie directors and stuff like that go on Behance to find new people to work with. So this is a great platform to consume a lot of quality content. The other platform I would recommend is Pinterest. And the reason I would recommend Pinterest is because it's very, very good for mood board creation. And that brings me to the next step. Now, mood board creation usually takes place on Pinterest. That's just my personally preferred place to do it. It's possible on Behance, but I find that it works more smoothly on Pinterest. The mood board to me is the simple step of the process. What I mean by this is that I enjoy this step the most because I find that when I start to create the mood board, my ideas just start flowing. I usually find between 5 to 7 images, and then I use the Find Similar Images feature to find more images or videos that are in the same vibe and style that I'm going for. The reason this is so powerful is because that I can very quickly put together a mood board that encapsulates the feeling I'm going for. Now, a tip to have mood boards that work better when you actually start the process of shooting, in my case, is to have at maximum 25 to 35 images on your mood board. This keeps the project and the concept more consistent, and you won't be overwhelmed with ideas and inputs from a lot of different pictures. It's more condensed in this way, and I find that actually for me this works a lot better than having maybe 100 pictures. Now, when I'm done with the mood board, I have a look and go through all my ideas and the things that I've generated and written down as mental notes in my head, and then I go on to the last step, which is prop collection. Prop collection is the last part, and it's very simple. It's about collecting props for the shoot or whatever else you're working on. Sometimes this is very cheap and it's easy to do, but other times it's very specific products that you need that are either hard to get or maybe expensive to get a hold of. Now, I want you to keep in mind that if you've spent a lot of hard work on the other parts of this project, then compromising on the prop collection can be a detriment to the final result. I therefore encourage you to take your time with this step. About a year ago, I had a still life project going on where it took me a couple of days to collect all of the different props and things I needed from different stores like thrift shops or ordering online. But it made the final product way better. This is just a rough outline of how my creative process looks, and nothing is set in stone, and sometimes I skip entire steps if I've found something online that I would just like to try to recreate to maybe practice lighting or posing. The last tip I have for you guys is to not stick too closely to your mood board. I say this because sometimes you can kind of get in your head that you need to create something exactly as it is on your mood board. This is not at all true, and I would just follow your intuition and see what works for you while you're working. This creates the best result in the end. Now, I just quickly wanted to say thank you to all of you who've had such a positive response on my latest 2 videos. It means the world to me and I'm so thankful. Now, remember to go out and make something.